Hey guys, welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Rise from the Ashes. We're talking to Lana. Forgot what about. Oh, I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted inside the body, the wound, then moved the body. Press. I think that's what we're doing. You planted the tip of Dark's knife, and then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? Edwards, I don't know why he sounded like Chris Redfield out of nowhere. Sheva! Come on! You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of other. Why did you move the body? Why did you plant the knife? Well, we know why she planted the knife. To falsify evidence. But why did she move the body? That's still a weird question. When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's just have the witness explain this more in detail. The reason Miss Sky moved the body. A piece of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Piece of the jar? You mean? Yes, that wretched jar Mr. Wright showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Schwink. I'm sorry I made that so like horrible. Neil Marshall was dead and Dark was lying unconscious. Why did I just say it like that? Schwink. That's horrible. In other words, the jar must have been broken during the struggle. I see. What's the matter, Emma? Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed, but I have a feeling there is more to it than that. There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Oop, premature pressing. So, you rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it. Period. Are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence? She's lying. She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened. In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions. Mr. Wright, my sister's lying. Looks like she's determined to protect you to the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself. There's no way she could have done it alone. I've got to get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. Should we just show the jar when she was talking about the jar? The piece of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Well, we'll try it. We get like 5 exclamation points. Doesn't hurt. There you go. Miss Guy, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been useless. Even so, I'm compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction to my testimony? You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right. Do you have a problem with that? It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in its final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not have yet been broken before he died. He couldn't have written Emma's name on the shattered jar. Order, order! Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. This jar is being used a lot in this case. Child, we may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed. What? Just tell exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Oof, he's so killing it. Very well, the witness may now continue your testimony. Jar and message in blood. I immediately noticed that blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got all of them. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. Well, you missed one because your boy Gant over there took one. You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer? That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. What? Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar. So the jar was already broken. It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. It certainly looks as feeble as the defense's case. What? But not as feeble as the judge's judgment. You were an ace detective who really never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar of pieces? Normally I would have. But it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. Because you were concerned about your little sister. You have a heart, don't be ashamed, girl. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them to dust. Well, that helps my case. Lana, you do that for me? It seems you two might make up yet. Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was. If someone happened upon the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. This is rather shocking. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. What did you use to wipe the blood with, my girl? With my creepy voice? My 1:30 in the morning creepy voice? I'm afraid this action of yours reveal what really happened. What do you mean? If you really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in this situation? Lana, I only had a few moments. There weren't enough time for me to do anything else but gather the pieces. The fragments were just large, so I'm sure I got them all. But how could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in that office. The detective's always prepared, Miss Wright. Even now, I always carry a pocket light with a camera on with me. Even I carry my bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. I never miss anything. I got every last piece. No, you did not, girl. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. No, you did not, girl. Let me present this. Do I present this or do I present something? I don't know. Uh-oh. It's like R. Kelly. You want this? I just presented a jar in your face, girl. Miss Guy, I believe this jar conceals a truth even you were unaware of. What? We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe. In the Chief's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about the final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off of them. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up at the scene. Chief Gant got there before you. Whew, we're getting places. Training spaces. HGTV. Let's get it. Aces. Attorneys? But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Ha! Can you believe that? Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that. There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying that person was Chief Gan at this time. He was looking for Dark downstairs. Besides, even if he was there, why would he break the jar? Damn! Objections flying around like crazy. The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide the fact for 2 years? Whoa. Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? No. Poor guy. That's why I get paid the big bucks. Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Damon Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposely hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called? Fabrication? But why would Chief Gunn do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma. And here's the reason. The reason why Miss Skye became the Chief's puppet. Ooh, we got her. No, I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the Chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys makes up most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client. I guess you do seem the type who likes to twist the truth. What? Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap? Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana. Maybe Wright after all. What do you mean, Wright? So you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? No. Miss Skye, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Skye, if you will. Ooh, we're getting badass into here. Here, hold on, Edgeworth. We're gonna take the badassness away from you and take care of ourselves. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. Alright guys, see you next time for more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. My voice is getting deeper, it's getting later, and things are getting more crazier. Tune in next time.
NANI?それはall day anime?